We're all told, frequently, by our friends, neighbors, family, culture, and society, what it is to be successful. Success means, most often, having money. It means having respect. If you want to be any sort of artist, it means making your art pay. If it doesn't pay, it's just a hobby. You need to stop doing that and start making money. If you don't make money, you're a drain on society. You're lazy, and you should be embarrassed to take up space on this planet. If you're a writer, the whole point is to get published. It's ideal if you can get published by a big company. If you get published by HarperCollins or Simon & Schuster or Penguin Random House, you've made it. Congratulations. Way to go. They didn't publish your book? Well, there are some other smaller publishers who are still a source of pride and a good measurement of success. Union Square & Co. are perfectly respectable, and you can still feel pretty good. You didn't manage that? Well, there are all these independent publishers. There are literary magazines. You can take a shot there, and if you make it, then you can get a little respect. No one wants to publish your work? Oh. Well, I'm sorry, but you're a failure as a writer, so you should see if you can flip burgers or serve coffee. You have to make some money, or you're worthless. Shame you're a lousy artist, but if you don't make any money, you must not be any good at all. Fred's Front Porch Podcast is made possible by our unofficial patron saints, Boo Radley, Miss Maudie, and Shoshana Edwards. Our official patron saint and shining light, Edith Keeler. Our producers, Shoshana Edwards and Coralie Day with Scott Knight, and the people on the porch. Welcome, fellow travelers on this rock tumbling through space. I'm Fred, and this is my front porch. Come on up and sit a while. There are ideas to be discussed on this old set of nicely nailed together boards. Success as an artist. See, I don't buy into any of that. It would be easy to say, well, yes, obviously you've never been published, so you have to reject that. Okay, I admit your argument. But that isn't why I refuse to believe the quality of anyone's art is determined by how much money they make creating it. Let's think about that a little while. Proposition: the quality of a work of art is best assessed by how much money it makes. And I'll start with the most obvious counter-argument. Alex Jones has earned in excess of $100 million. He's done this by lying and yelling and making people angry. If I have to convince you that his art is trash, you're reading the wrong article or listening to the wrong podcast. I'm not going to spend my time convincing you of either that or the fact that if you dive into water, you will become wet. Some things are too obvious to spend any of the few minutes we're allowed to be alive debating. The article you're reading or the show to which you're listening makes substantially less money than Mr. Jones does. And it's objectively better. In the same way that, while I'm not a fan of Britney Spears, she certainly sings better than my dog Speedy Shine does. I like Speedy Shine better than I like Britney Spears, but that doesn't change the objective facts. There are certainly great works of art that have earned vast fortunes. Harper Lee made more than $2 million a year from To Kill a Mockingbird. If you don't recognize To Kill a Mockingbird as a great work of art, again, you're reading the wrong article or listening to the wrong podcast. You're dismissed. The fact is, though, that it's futile to measure the value of art in financial terms. The money it earns tells us nothing about its quality. How then should we evaluate art? That's a much deeper question than I can even begin to address here. I would say a part of it is its ability to make our lives better, but that's so widely open to interpretation that I recognize it means little. I'd be more than a little interested in your thoughts about how a work of art should be evaluated. Success, then, isn't just about money. I submit it's about a much more important currency. It's about minutes. In your lifetime, you're predicted to get roughly 40 million of those. There is, of course, no guarantee you'll get them all. Traffic exists. Diabetes threatens many lives daily. People die unexpectedly every minute of every day. There are children who get shot before they've even lived enough years to make it to double digits. They didn't get anything close to their 40 million minutes. Yours and mine could both end before we finish this sentence. There's simply no way to know. If you spend $1, you can go make another one. If you spend a minute, it's gone forever, and nothing in the universe will recover it for you until we get around to working out time travel. And even assuming we work that out, a case could be made that your minutes are still irreplaceable. Great science fiction writers have taken up that question. I just ordered The Man Who Folded Himself by David Gerald, which I've been told by those who are in a position to know is the most comprehensive time travel book ever written. I'll know a little bit more about time travel in the next week or two. Great scientists have also discussed time travel. I interviewed someone on this show once who claimed to be a time traveler. I'm not sure even a year later that I believe him. I'll let better minds than mine sort out that problem for you. I'm taking the position that your 40 million expected minutes are more valuable than $40 million. Success, then, is to have the greatest possible number of good minutes. To put it in the vernacular of my writing coach, you want substantially more goodies than yikes. Those are really the two basic positions any minutes can take. There are countless variations on those ideas, but in general, minutes are either ones you enjoy or ones you don't. If success as an artist is limited to publishing, what does this mean about your minutes? I was told by the world that my work was, quote, good enough, whatever that means, to be published now. How nice, thank you. I did what I was told. I submitted to a publisher. They were very kind and very professional. They were interested, but they needed me to make changes in my work. In the teddy bear coder, they told me my dialogue was stilted, and I needed to fix that. In Reflections from the Front Porch, the voice was wonderful, but they wanted better organization and more adherence to a single subject. This is perfectly reasonable. They're probably right. But I don't want to spend the few minutes I have left changing what I wrote to fit someone else's ideas of what is good and what is not. I'm always open to thoughts about my work, and something I'm learning is to accept rejection and reject acceptance. The final arbiter of the quality of my work is me.
Fred's Front Porch Podcast is my little pool of sanity in a desert of chaos.
That smelly old man is great, so long as I don't need to be in the same room with him. Sometimes I feel sorry for the dog though, you know. They have this powerful sense of smell, and this dude reeks to high heaven.
You should support Smelly Old Man so I can get some more bully sticks for when he's in Zoom meetings, so I don't tear up what's left of his furniture. I can't extort them from him if he doesn't have any. And I like that he smells, because I know it's him when he comes home most of the times.
I support Fred on Patreon because I think we need more calm, rational voices in the world.
You should support Fred on Patreon because otherwise he'll never be rich or famous enough to meet me. You don't want that to happen to him, do you?
There is no them. We are all us, especially on Fred's Front Porch. I hope to see you there. I love to learn more about writing. I'm taking a class, and I have a personal writing coach. I read the few comments my friends make about my work, and sometimes they have excellent ideas that, when I incorporate them into my writing, make me love my work more than I did before. Thank you. I'm exceedingly grateful. I like, though, my dialogue exactly the way it is in the Teddy Bear Coder. I like that my essays or articles or whatever the hell I write in Reflections from the Front Porch tend to wander from one idea to the next. And I never even considered submitting moments that make up a life for publication to anyone, because I quote song lyrics all over the place, and I need them, and I don't want to take them out, and I can't possibly afford to pay for the rights to quote them. I'm allowed, however, to write it my way, so long as no one else sees the work. I believe there are 10 copies of Moments That Make Up a Life in the universe, and only because I spent the money to have it hardbound myself, so I could give copies to my top supporters. I don't anticipate Paul Simon or Tony Banks suing me. If I decided to make the changes publishers want, I would spend hundreds of hours or thousands of minutes in an effort to make my work into something I like less so that I might make some money from it. So how does one make money as an artist? For me, it's Patreon. It certainly isn't a lot, but for the first time in my life, I put $500 in the bank this month, and for me, that's huge. I have 47 folks at this moment who pay for the privilege of reading over my shoulder or listening to me talk. It took me nearly 4 years to get that big an audience, and I'm proud of it. These folks are willing to take my work exactly as I produce it. They're mostly friends of mine. They're not going to sue me. They all know I don't have any money anyway. And they like what I do well enough that they're willing to give me a little money for it. And after all this time, it's finally enough that it makes a massive difference in my life. I'm probably the world's worst marketer. I have no doubt that if I spent lots of minutes, the way people in my podcast groups recommend, working on search engine optimization or networking with people so I can get big names on my show for interviews or targeting my market more precisely, I could increase the number of people listening to or reading my work. I'm sure they're right. And I want to put 0 of the perhaps 10 million minutes I have left. Yes, I'm an optimist, I know. Into that pursuit. But you could have more money. You could become famous. You could be a contender instead of a bum, which is what you are. Let's face it. Now I need to take you back to one of my best pieces. If you've never read or listened to Horace's Final Five, you absolutely should. The links are in the transcript. In Horace's final 5 minutes on Earth, he spends 0 seconds thinking about how much money he has. He has a moral problem to solve concerning how he got some of the last money he ever had, but wealth isn't the main consideration. The point is to make those final 5 minutes count. Money won't get you any minutes back. Healthcare that ought to be provided to everyone for free certainly can increase the number of minutes you get, but we will all finally run out of them. The number is undeniably finite. Success, to me, is creating art that I find valuable. I certainly hope a few others share my assessment of it, but I have 0 control over other people. I don't have complete control even over myself. But when I get the privilege of choosing how to spend my minutes, I'm going to make them the best they can be. I'm going to create what I think needs to be in the world, and I'm going to do it in my own way. So, how do you make money as an artist? Do it your way, and hope you find people who like it. If they don't, keep going. Get better. More authentic, not more commercial, whatever commercial means. And create again and again and again until you love what you create. Keep putting it on Patreon. There will be a few people who respond, and those are your people. You're not required to listen to anyone's notes or set up another meeting in hopes of getting your work out to the wider audience. You just keep being you. The thing to know is, you're not unique. Other people have had experiences similar to yours. Last month, I wrote the most personal and frightening thing I've ever committed to paper. Right after one of the people on the porch read it, she increased her support to beyond the top level of my Patreon page. I suspect I touched a part of her, and she responded. She wasn't among those who hurt me so much, but I feel sure she knew at least one of the fictional characters who appeared in the piece. Art is both universal and personal. Your work is going to touch someone, and in time, you'll make a little money from it. Will you make a living? I wouldn't count on it, unless you're willing to trade lots of good minutes, hoping to win some dollars. I will always remember the pure ecstasy I experienced when I got my first Patreon supporter, Jareen, who signed up for $1 a month. Someone, somewhere, connected with my art and wanted to support it. Everything after that first dollar was icing on the cake. I had all the success I had ever dreamt of having. Someone liked my work. You're successful when you spend your minutes creating art you love. That's, finally, all that matters. Yes, there are some other ways to make money as a writer. I have friends who have taken a shot at doing it on Medium. And to make that work, you have to write things people will click. The 10 best movies of all time. 12 cities you have to visit before you die. 5 ways to make money as a writer. If you enjoy making lists, okay, great. Have a good time, and I hope you make some money. I wouldn't be able to enjoy that, but I know that's a method of earning money. It just doesn't feel authentic to me. I could be wrong, though. Maybe you're expressing a deep part of yourself when you do that. I wouldn't do it because I'm more motivated by making a difference than by making money. I'm more fortunate than most people because I have just barely enough. The diabetes that threatens my life and encourages me to create all I can as quickly as I can before it takes away the rest of my minutes also gets me a little bit of money from the government every month. That allows me more time to create. I branched out from writing to podcasting, and from podcasting to making videos because I could make enough money to make a difference by doing those things. And I found I could express ideas and emotions in those alternative forms of art. I'm creating. I'm enjoying it. And if I'm very careful, I can make it to the end of the month with double digits in my account. You have only a very few minutes to experience life. Your job is to enjoy as many of them as you can. I hope you enjoyed the minutes we just spent together. And yes, I love you. 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 I love you.
Next week on Fred's Front Porch Podcast.
I'm told that Jim Wright of Stone Kettle Station said something like, if you can't afford to take care of your veterans, you can't afford to go to war. I had a friend send me an article in which she said that line appeared, but it wasn't in that article. It was a fantastic article filled with ideas for which I cheered, but it didn't have the quotation I needed. I searched for it, but he has hundreds of essays on his site, and I couldn't find it to give you the link. I'm giving him credit anyway because I understand the idea came from him, even if I can't prove it. If you have access to that essay, I would love for you to share it with me. I'll begin then with a statement of my own that I believe to be as obviously true as Mr. Wright's statement. People matter more than money. smelly old man and his best good boy have made it through another month, in large part because of the support of the people whose names you'll hear in just a moment. We would simply not be able to exist without these folks. Human beings need each other. None of us got where we are without others to help us. It's simply impossible. I'm grateful to humanity in general for making this life possible, and to these people specifically for making sure Speedy Shine and his smelly old man get to be a part of it. They give our lives meaning, and they keep us from plunging headlong into inescapable poverty. These are the people on the porch. Our unofficial patron saints are Miss Maudie, Boo Radley, and Shoshana Edwards. Our patron saint and shining light is Edith Keeler. Our producers are Shoshana Edwards, Marie Janicki, and Coralie Day, with Scott Knight. Our top patron is Sherlock, the mystery patron. Our Speedy Shine sponsors are Karen Herbert and Carrie DeDeo.
Thank you, Karen and Carrie, for helping me, because that is the very nicest thing to do. Okay, I go away.
Our patrons are Mary Rosello, Sandy Brower, Kevin Boyce, Joe March, and welcome back, Linda M. Crota. We're glad to see you again. It's been a while, and the porch has missed you. Our sponsors are Alex Oliphant, Jake Margaram, Frau Bluka, Greg Roybal, Robert Blomker II, Cindy Mandel, Amos Stewart, Phil Parkman, Judy W. Morris, Corey Pluard, Pavel S., Claude Burt Lansden, Scott Shelby, Natalie Fredrickson, Elizabeth Bennett, and Zara. Our supporters are Cynthia Ostrom, Donna Leaf, Jackie Jolly, Christine Pavlik, Glenn Elfman, Stephanie Hansen, Kim, Deborah Rice, Jamie Sassy, MJ, Roxanne Wolf, Michelle Sylvester, Ursula Phillips, Sarah Nimitz, John G., Christine L. Patterson, Mark Rosema, and our first supporter was and is Jareen. Thank you for helping Speedy Shine and his smelly old man to shine. As one of the people on the porch advised us, I ain't gonna dim my light for no one. Thank you for shining your lights on us. Thanks for letting me share my thoughts and ideas with you. Find your episodes of Fred's Front Porch Podcast early and commercial-free only on Patreon. And check out our new website at fredsfrontporch.com. No, there's no punctuation in this one either, but hey, welcome to the internet. Anyway, thanks for being here. I'll talk to you next week.